interesting to the degree to which Tolkien and Lewis are bound into this 20th century period because, I mean, both Tolkien and Lewis were men of their times and, tremendously prescient and have had, incredible careers of influence now. But it'll be interesting when, as this post-war consensus sort of continues to recede, if they'll have sort of this amazing ability to speak to people indirectly that they've had over the last 30 years. So I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, it's a really I don't know, it's an important question, but it's one that matters a lot to me. I mean, I've got always so much Lewis in my head, and have had since I was a teenager and before. Um, and the two men. I mean, despite their being friends and their lives being intertwined in so many ways, they're so different from each other. And I mean, you were saying, Paul, they're men of their times, which I mean, of course they are, but in some ways they sit quite lightly to their times. Tolkien, in some sense, he really belongs in the seventh century. There's something kind of profoundly Nordic about him. Um, and Lewis has this sort of deeply medieval quality to him as well. I mean, my suspicion is that it's Tolkien, despite the fact that he is a profoundly conservative person in his own time, and he is out of step with his age, and very much sees himself as being, and is seen by it as being. He's this crazy old man writing myths, inventing languages. Um, my suspicion is that in the end is going to be the influence that runs deeper because the myth is so powerful and is so lightly rooted in its time. He's mixing in an enormous dose of early medieval wisdom while refracting it through an unmistakably 20th century ethic. Um, I mean, the job that he's doing in The Hobbit of taking this, essentially 1930s Englishman, in the shape of Bilbo, and introducing him to a world